Before the first sword was raised, before the first horn was sounded, before gods and giants remembered their hatred, the end had already begun. Not with fire, not with thunder, but with silence. A silence that crept across the 9 realms like a shadow that had been waiting its turn. Odin knew it. He felt it long before anyone else. In his dreams he saw the twilight of existence, golden halls collapsing, the sky split in flame, wolves devouring the sun. He drank from forbidden wells. He traded his eye. He purchased wisdom with pain. But wisdom is not armor. Wisdom is burden. So he remained silent, watching destiny tighten like rope around his kingdom. High atop Asgard, Odin sat alone, tracing the shapes of runes that glowed with truth. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, returned nightly, wings stained with stories of cold winds and starving people. He knew that a storm was coming, not from the skies, but from the consequences of gods who believed themselves untouchable. Far beneath the shining halls of Asgard, deeper than light dared travel, there lay a cavern where chains glowed like embers. Loki sat, bound, betrayed not by strangers, but by those who once called him brother. He smiled, not because freedom was near, but because he knew fate would remember. Fate always remembers. Beside him lay the consequence of his blood. Fenrir, the great wolf, restrained by divine metal, foaming with hunger to break free. His eyes burned with cosmic rage. His breath steamed like iron in the cold. Each movement of his body shook the earth. The gods didn't see a creature. They saw prophecy. They feared him. But prophecy is not a creature. It is a promise. And it was already unfolding. The first omen came quietly. Snow fell. Snow in places where winter never belonged. Snow that carried no softness, no beauty. It fell not for days, but for years. 3 long years. Thimble winter. The interminable winter. Crops died. Animals vanished. Men turned against men. Mothers hid food from sons. Kings hoarded grain, while peasants burned in frost. Across Midgard, the human world split. Brothers spilled blood over crumbs. Families crumbled just to survive. Children of the gods watched from Asgard. Some wept. Some counted the dead. Odin said nothing. The end was still moving toward them. One night, a howl shattered the stillness of the realms. Not of pain, but of promise. Fenrir's chains cracked. Sparks shot upward like fragments of dying stars. And in that same moment, Loki's restraints weakened. His laughter echoed through caverns like thunder without lightning. Odin gathered his champions. Warriors risen from honored death, shields forged from celestial gold. Valhalla poured its gates wide, and thousands marched, bearded, scarred, fearless. Every one of them knew the truth. They were already dead once, and now they would die again, this time forever. Thor stepped forward, hammer radiating lightning that slashed the sky open. Never had thunder sounded so heavy. Never had lightning felt like finality. He looked not at the horizon, but at the serpent whose body encircled the world. Jormungand stirred beneath the oceans, its movement shifting tides and cracking the earth like brittle clay. From Muspelheim, fire ignited. Not campfire flame, not ember, not spark. Pure creation flame. Surtur rose from the molten abyss, a titan crowned in burning ash, sword in hand. A sword that could unmake planets. His steps liquefied mountains. Loki rose now, free from the chains. He stood amid dust that once was iron. Betrayal coursed through his veins like venom. This was not vengeance. This was balance. He did not roar. He simply walked, knowing every step was a step toward endings. The sky split. Jalahorn sounded across the 9 realms, a sound that awakened both the dead and the terrified. Heimdall lifted the horn, and its glow burned brighter than dawn. That single sound vibrated across every world, calling armies, calling fates, calling the inevitable. The realms converged. Thor met Jörmungand, lightning dancing across serpent scales, each strike shaking oceans. Thunder became the rhythm of the battle. The serpent's poison spilled into the air, turning storms into black clouds that rained death. Thor swung again and again, each strike louder, each louder weaker than the last. Meanwhile, Odin charged into the mouth of destiny. Fenrir towered before him, jaws wide enough to swallow kings and worlds alike. Odin thrust his spear, runes blazing. Fenrir lunged. The earth shook, the sky tore open, and Odin disappeared into darkness between monstrous teeth. Above the burning fields, Loki and Heimdall clashed, not with swords, not with fists, but with the hatred of 2 men who knew they were destined for this moment. Light collided with shadow. Jalahorn cracked. Blood ignited mid-air. They pierced one another with final certainty and fell onto ground that no longer felt alive. And then came the sword. Surtur raised the great burning blade and struck down upon Yggdrasil, the world tree, the root of creation. Fire spread through roots that carried ancient memory, turning time itself into ash. The 9 realms trembled. Oceans rose, swallowing cities. Stars dropped like molten stones. Thor struck the serpent one final time. Jörmungand collapsed, poison escaping from its corpse, misting the battlefield. Thor breathed the venom into his lungs. He stood just long enough to take one last step, and fell beside the serpent he had slain. The gods lay broken, their weapons scattered, their halls in ruins, their banners burning, their names fading like cold breath. Fire consumed forest. Water swallowed villages. Earth split open. The wind no longer carried songs, only embers. Yet, from the ashes, silence returned. Not the silence of death, the silence of beginning. Morning dew glistened on a new earth. The ground that once held blood now birthed green sprouts, rising timidly through soot and decay. 2 humans stepped forth, Leaf and Leifthrisir, carriers of memory, bearers of future. No armor, no crowns, no prophecy, only breath and hope. They walked toward a horizon untouched by gods, untouched by war, untouched by the wake of history. The sky warmed, birds returned, rivers cleaned themselves, and for the first time since creation, the world belonged not to gods, but to those who learned how to survive them. That was Ragnarok. Not an ending, not destruction, but transformation. The death of power, the birth of life, the fall of arrogance, the rise of simplicity, the collapse of golden thrones, the beginning of human time. The gods didn't lose. They fulfilled what destiny demanded, and the world, reborn from fire, from poison, from silence, opened its eyes for the very first time. Not under divine rule, not under fear, but under freedom.